So say if I became one of the developers of this damn game and I had to bring it back up, there would be so many things that would have to change. First off would be probably the pets. We have 400 pets in this game, well 423 exactly right now, and most of them, like say I go to this one, it's useless, it's a useless pet. There's no way you could possibly use that to be successful in PvE or PvP. Go to a random other pet. This one right here too. You can't do anything with most of the pets. There's a very low amount of pets that are actually good in this game, like Arcanite Bemming, Arcanite Loveling, Arcanite Precious. You just scroll through, you maybe pick one out of every 5 pets that you scroll through. And maybe 50 or 25 pets would be useful out of 400. That's a really low amount. There's just so much stuff that needs to be done with pets that is unbelievable. What I would do, I'd go through each happiness bonus and make it useful depending on the pet's current price and everything. I would correct the happiness bonuses so they aren't confusing, because some of them have different wording for specific things and it confuses people. The arcane ability, if I go to Arcanite Bemming, this Terror Twister does nothing. I would change all of the arcane abilities to more specific details for both PvE and PvP and make them actually work how they're supposed to, as in the description. This one doesn't work how it's descripted. You go to use this pet, it doesn't pull anything in. So it's probably the first thing I would change about the game. It would be the pets. I did buy a new microphone, a new headset. I mean, it sounds like I'm underwater when I'm talking. It costs literally double the price of my previous one. And it sucks that I paid more for it and it sucks ass. But for the next thing I would change would possibly be the quests. These quests, we have 113 story quests, that's not a lot. If you go through them, you'll realize majority of them are like level 1 to 60 quests. Like, most of them are just tiny EXP quests, and 10%, 20% of them are decent-sized EXP quests. I would go through here, I would probably put 500 story quests. Side quests, probably 100. I would have to remove a lot, like Sigurd's Call 3. That's completely useless quest right there. Some of these quests are useless and they're just there to be there. So after you hit level 60, you're kind of stuck doing replayable right now. I'd make it where there is no replayable for EXP, I'd make it for gold or whatever. Story quests, you complete the stories, you get level 81. Replayable would be there for possibly gold, or items to craft stuff. Event would kind of be different, it'd give more tokens per quest. Side quests would be quests you would do to craft items, like go into the past where you can craft arcanes, for example, is what I would make side quests for. To be able to craft older weapons and use them throughout all the levels. So the next thing I would change on here would possibly be the skills. I would add so many skills to this game, it would be crazy. You'd probably have about 25 or 50 skills for each class, and for your skill points, instead of having 81, I would give 5 skill points for each level cap you hit. So if you hit level 16, you get 5 skill points for level 16 instead of 1. Level 21, 26, 31, 36, and so on, all the way to 81, you get 5 skill points per level cap. And the reason for that is because you don't want to just be limited to like 4 skills and have to fill out your masteries and ultimate and stuff like that. You don't want to have to respec all of your skills to change out, or respec all your stats and stuff to change out 4 skills or 5 skills. You want to be able to use at least 10 different skills that are available to you. Now, yeah, you'll be stuck with 4 right here, but you can go through here and pick 4 out of the 50 skills that are available to use. It wouldn't just be 8 skills like we have since like 2012. It'd be more skill variation, so there'd be a whole lot more builds. People can post their builds on forums like that, instead of just having one specific build per class. that's already the best. I would take out passives, like I would remove gold loop passive, that shouldn't even be a thing. I would put damage reduction stacking like 2% per point. Movement speed, okay, I guess that's fine. I'd put maybe 10% movement speed per skill point, so it's actually useful instead of 1%. I just change passives up and add some more passives to this. Masteries, it would be the same. It'd be masteries for all 50 skill points. I'd probably change like chest splitter, because reduced mana cost is kind of useless now that we have 5,000 mana as a warrior. Ultimates, I would add probably 10 different ultimates per class. So there's a lot of stuff I would change with that. So the next thing I would do, it is related to the quest. Like I was saying before, for the side quests, you could go into the side quest and craft a weapon from previous expansions, like the Dragon Hunter sword, I can guess, for example. So if you was to craft a sword, the first thing before I even made those quests, I would go and take this weapon from level 46 cap to level 81, going by each level of each map, and make this weapon deal damage based on your player level to the enemies, based on their health and stuff, so that it's not extremely broken. Like for level 81, you take the sword, it probably does 200 damage or so a tick on proc to mobs, which will not kill them fast. I could probably change it to where it does, I don't know, 8,000 damage a tick, and if you pull enemies into it with like a Terror Blade, it will kill them at a decent speed. It won't nuke them, but it will kill them fast, and it's useful. The way you could craft this is if you do the quests, I would put something like collect 300 magma rocks or magma corridor in order to get the blade of the weapon. Collect like 100 dragon teeth from bosses in order to get the 3 teeth for the weapon right here, the brown parts right there that look like teeth. And for the handle, I guess collect 100 shimmering crystals or something. It'd take time, it's something that's decently difficult and it has to be done in elite maps only to obtain, but it would be worth it. The reason for that is because if you make a weapon from the past overpowered now, then the price is going to be a whole lot higher, and you don't want that. You want the price to be low so everyone at that level can get the weapon and use it. I would make leveling a whole lot harder too, like a whole lot longer. That's because that is to make everyone use the weapons as they go. Make everyone go through the thing and craft the weapons and use them as they level up. So AL wouldn't take a day to level up, it would take months, and it would be pretty fun because you'd get to go through the game, learn how to use each weapon, craft each weapon, and do this and that, and so on. So the next thing that comes to mind is I would change events. I would delete all energy-based events, and I would make it where you could actually keep leaderboard. If you get like first place, you can keep leaderboard for the entire duration of the event. It would be similar to Swamp Temple, but it wouldn't be as hard for most of the events. Like Swamp Temple would probably be the hardest event I have. The events would literally be something like a contest you can enter. And shoot, it could be the fishing event. You could sit there and whoever catches the biggest fish by the end of the time period or whatever, it'd be like a 12-hour duration per thing, and you'd cost like 100,000 gold to enter. Catch the biggest fish, you win the prize for that 12-hour duration, and then it resets, and then it goes for another 12 hours throughout the week. Whoever catches the biggest fish wins the prize, and stuff like that. Hard to explain, but I would change events up, make it all fair for everyone. Time wouldn't be an issue for anyone. So the next thing I'm going to change is how this game makes its money. I would completely rework this damn system. It is crappy right now. Right now this game, the way they make their money is through vanities and locks and auras. That's the majority. That's like where most of their income comes from. I would completely change that. I would change this store so much. Like artifact runes, nobody buys this shit. This right here shouldn't even be 500 platinum. It shouldn't even be listed. It's worth like $10,000 or 10,000 gold in the auction house. What I would do is I would add things to the game that don't benefit you as in power-wise making you stronger. It just makes things more like easier to do. I would change inventory to 750 slots at the maximum you can get for free by opening slot kits on your character or using huntlet tokens. And then if you don't have enough after 750, you don't feel like going to your stash or whatever, there's the option. You could go to the store and for like 20 bucks buy it and have 3,000 inventory slots on that one character. So inventory will never be an issue again. Like who has 3,000 items separately? I don't think anyone really does. Emotes. Emotes would be a big thing because I could put, I don't know, 100 different emotes in this game and sell the emote pack for $10 per character. People love emotes, like they use them. They don't use them all the time, but them just being there for fun. There's a lot of stuff you could do with them. For house, I wouldn't mess with house stuff. It's kind of fine right now. It just needs house slots easier to obtain. Guild Hall, it needs Guild Hall slots to be obtained freely. Right now it's only pay to win for Guild Hall. I would rework this entire thing to be nothing but beneficial stuff. That's 0% pay to win. Yeah, I'd keep vanities and everything in the store, but I'd make them rarer. I'd make them cost more plat. Maybe 25 vanities of that certain type for 1,000 platinum each, and that's all that will exist. Price would be high and be fair. Everything would be great on the store and everyone would like it because you don't have to sit there and waste all your money on locks trying to get a weapon. I would make this game completely free to play and make the store just benefit you by saving time. You could still open locks and everything, but weapons would be freely obtained. Each level would get harder and harder to obtain that weapon though. And the weapons would keep their value. They would be worth millions still. Thing I forgot to mention about the store is that, you know how crafting is? It's an absolute pain in the ass to sit there and wait on stuff to be crafted. I would change it to where you could buy like 1 week of double time crafting for $3 or 200 platinum, and you could just sit there and craft things a whole lot faster. Or I would change it to where you could instantly craft stuff for a day for like, I don't know, $10. So whatever you craft, it just instantly is done for $10 for a 24-hour period. So that's one thing I would possibly add. Crafting slots, I'd make 100 of them or 200 of them for one character, because 25 is just useless. Like, it is useful. It's better than having just 5 like we used to, but we shouldn't be just limited to 25, because when you're crafting jewels, there's a lot of people who craft jewels like I do when it's Easter. I use probably 700 crafting slots in order to craft the jewels I buy. So that's a lot of jewels, and it takes forever. It takes me about 2 months, but I make about 50 million profit off of it. So increasing crafting and stuff would be beneficial to cells. So here's one thing I would love to change. The first thing on this subject is people spamming maps all the time. That shit is so annoying that most of the people on my ignore list are people who spam the maps. I used to have like 900 people on ignore for spamming maps and stuff like that, or trash talking. Right now it's just 163. So if you're on my ignore list, you spammed a map, you spammed the chat. That's why I ignore the studio mostly. That stuff's annoying because I'm trying to read and the chat's just going up and up and up. So I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to ignore list you. So what I would change is if you say the same message more than 3 times in a span of 5 seconds, or a message very similar to the previous one, it'll mute you for a minute, and then 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and then 10 minutes, and it'll repeat 10 minutes, and so on. It would literally stop people from spamming in maps. That stuff is annoying. The next thing I would change, the report system. Don't report this person, just using him as an example. You literally have these options, and if you report someone, it does nothing. They don't get banned. Their STS doesn't do a thing about reports, and I have proof that they don't. I have literally sent them proof all the time of screenshots of issues I've had with people, and they don't do shit about it. So I'd change that up. I would make it to where I hire 10 people, and say if an email is sent, it would go 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 10. And each person would have a number to them to receive an email. It would depend on how many people I would have to hire, based off how many emails I would get per day of issues people have. So if like 2,000 emails a day, hire 10 people, have them do 200 emails a day each, or something like that. It would be simple. Or 100 emails each a day would be more realistic. It depends on how much time it takes for the most efficiency on getting that stuff done. So I would completely rework that system as well. Okay, so the next thing I would change is the description of weapons. If you go to the Dozer X, for example, you read the description. Transfer saw blade shield debuff on damaging an enemy saw aura damages enemies and buffs caster. Only thing I know for that is it's a chance to proc. It gives an aura with saw blades, and it buffs my character. It doesn't tell me how much it buffs it. It doesn't tell me what the aura does exactly, like how it works. It doesn't tell me other stuff. I would change the description for 100% chance for a saw blade AoE attack that lasts for 7 seconds, has a cooldown of 7 seconds, that gives 50% haste, 300% damage bonus based off your base damage. It will show the base damage inside of the equation. So your base damage, like mine's 5,220 times 3 in parentheses, is what it would show, because you know how stacking damage pets, for example, will make it. Say if I have like 6,000, that wouldn't be my base with a stacking damage or a pet or elixir. It would show the base damage and stuff. So the next thing I would have, this would keep people more active on chat. So every hour or every 2 hours, I would have this constantly going, and the game would have a question that it will ask in the chat, and it will appear across your screen. You can go in your settings and disable it if you don't want to enter it. But you could do /A for /answer, and then put your answer there, and the first top 5 people, like the first 5 people to answer the question correctly, will get platinum. Like the first place 5 platinum, second place 4 platinum, third place 3 platinum, and so on. So that's how that would work. It would be pretty fun because people would stay in chat more often and be more active, maybe chatting with guildmates more often and everything like that. It would just be something fun to do. Now I know the rewards don't sound big, but when you have this going 24/7, it kind of adds up to a lot. So it'd probably be every 3 hours or 2 hours instead of every 1 hour. Okay, the next thing I would add is in elite maps, I would put loot for each boss. Like most of the maps will have like arcane eggs and heroic eggs that drop from these bosses. The eggs that are heroic, that we don't currently have a big quantity of, would drop from them because we have a 75 pet APs achievement that it costs a lot to get, and the pets are extremely hard to find for a good price. So I would add them to most of these bosses so people would not be bored out of their mind running 4,000 boss APs per section of the maps. For Shoyle though, for Astral Tower, I would make the boss of this map drop his vanity depending on which class you are. Everyone's always wanted his vanity. If you don't know what he looks like, he looks pretty cool. His vanity, if that drops, it'd probably be worth a lot, so I'd put like a 0.5% drop rate or something, or 0.05, and whoever loots it, it'd probably be worth about 50 mil. It's a really cool looking set he has on, if you've seen it before. So that's one thing. Another thing I would change is more loot for bosses in every single map, on elite maps. Okay, another thing I would do is 999 milk gold a thing. I would literally start slowly working on removing most of the gold out of this game. If you go into the store and take a look at when you go to buy gold with platinum, you get up to 5 million gold or 10 million gold for 3,500 platinum. That's like almost $200 worth of platinum for 10 million gold. But 3,500 platinum, let me get my calculator out. You guys won't be able to see it. But if I do 3,500 divided by 5, because you could buy elite gems, that's 700 elite gems. If I go to the store, and these things sell for about 120,000 each, not 1.2 mil each. If I could type 700 with 3,500 platinum, that's 84 million gold. That's literally 8 times more than the gold in the store. So I would fix this right here. I would either delete a lot of gold out of the game by adding stuff that you spend gold on to obtain, or I would increase this value right here to 85 million gold. And I would go off of each item and get the precise amount of gold per platinum. Right now it's like 20,000 or so gold per platinum. So I'd fix that as well. So the next thing I would do is I would go to my art team. If I was the owner or whatever, I would literally go up to them and make them create vanities that we don't have. There would no longer be recolors. I would literally create a vanity for like each animal that exists in the world. We don't even have a panda vanity, a tiger vanity. We don't have vanities for pets except the bunny rabbit. We don't have vanities from movies. Like, there's some movies, yeah, we'll get copyright, but I'm pretty sure some out there where if we just change the name, we won't get copyright from it. There's a lot of stuff they can add, but they choose to recolor every damn vanity there is. If I like go over here, first off, you can see the Swamp Temple banners right there. You see any difference in them? There's barely any difference. They're both from solo leaderboard of top 10. They're literally the exact same thing, just a slight different color. The next thing is Winterfest suits. So if you take a look here, 1 recolor, 2 recolor, 3 recolor, 4, and then you have got more in the auction house. Like you've got purple, you've got red, you've got blue, green, all kinds of them. There's 2 greens. I mean, this isn't exactly Winterfest, but you see it's just a slight redesign of it. There's just so many recolors in this game, it's crazy. I say 2015 was probably their best era for vanities. You have Cinder, you have the Loi set, don't know how to pronounce it. You have Frankenstein, Ghost set, Medusa, and stuff like that. And then after that, you just got freaking shit vanities. Like last Christmas, the vanity that sold in the store was just a recolor of the leaderboard top 5 vanity. What the hell? So that's all the big stuff I would change about this game. Of course there's a whole lot more I would change, but that's just minor stuff that would make the game better. It's not worth mentioning in the video. Like, for example, you see that safe right there if my mouse cursor is on? If I was to go to click it, watch what I click. Okay, I click that, of course, for fuck's sake, first try. Say if I would click the safe behind this doll. I click the doll, It's normal. I click the save behind it. It's hard to give an example because it's actually working for once. If I want to click this vest right here, why is it working for once when I don't want it to work? Okay, so normally what happens is if I was to click the safe right here from that point of view, it would literally click the safe behind it. Like it would click this safe back here instead of this one. And in edit mode, I would probably have like a list of items with numbers on them. And the numbers would be on the item itself when the edit mode is brought up. So you could just click the item in the list and it'll select that item so you can move it or whatever. Just stuff like that. So I added all the big stuff I would change in the video. All the small stuff I didn't add because there's a whole lot and it's just not worth the time of mentioning. So I'm going to end the video here. There's probably a lot of stuff I missed, but you guys get the point. I would change a shit ton of stuff about this game and make it a whole lot better if I was in authority to.